Should the Chicago Bears pay Kyler Gordon? And Ben Johnson is ready to win now. Talked about all of that and more on the Morning Breeze. This is the Morning Breeze recap. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel to talk Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So on today's episode, we talked about the possibility of Kyler Gordon being extended by the Chicago Bears, and the Bears head coach Ben Johnson talking about not just wanting to win, but wanting to win now. Started with the Kyler Gordon topic on this one because I think that one is a little bit more pressing. Please tap into the Morning Breeze recap, for the Morning Breeze, I should say, for the full breakdown of the entire episode. But listen, the conversation around Kyler Gordon, I think, is an interesting one because the realistic position that the Bears are in right now is that at about $12 to $14 million, you should be able to get Kyler Gordon back in the building. The only question around it is, does it get in the way of the Bears going out and signing one of those big name players? Now, Ryan Poles was asked about this, and he said it's always a priority to re-sign your own. And Kyler has done a really good job over the last few years making plays and impacting the game. I really believe he's going to continue to elevate his game to the next level, especially with Dennis Allen's new scheme. And I think that's the part that does excite me the most, right, about where Kyler Gordon is at, because to me, the scheme conversation is the biggest thing. And he is someone who Dennis Allen has brought up by name. You know that Dennis Allen wants to utilize this guy. You know that Dennis Allen feels that he can be a key piece of this defense. We've seen him when he is blitzing off of that edge, how dominant he can be. His coverage grades have been phenomenal over the past couple of years. Oddly enough, his grade in the run defense is usually where it gets a little bit murky. But outside of that, I mean, listen, Kyler Gordon is just one of those guys who does a good job at just about everything he's asked to do on the football field. How can Dennis Allen utilize that, especially with Jalen Johnson moving around a little bit more, being that slot DB? What kind of numbers is he going to command, but versus the kind of impact that he's going to give you? And I think that's the conversation that you have to have around Kyler Gordon's name right now. The impact that he's giving you is tremendous. And if you're telling me I got to re-sign Kyler Gordon at $36 million over 3, sign me up. I'm all in on this. And I think that that's kind of that price range that you're looking for as far as paying a slot corner right now. The cornerback market overall, I think, is a market that's continuing to increase, but just about the best right now is Michael Carter II. He's making about $10 million average. He got about $18 million guaranteed, $13 million of that fully guaranteed, and he got $30 million in total value on the contract. If you told me we're somewhere just above that number, I don't think that stops you from doing what you need to do. Now, if it does get to the point where you're trying to fix the trenches and you have to go above a price that you thought you were going to have to pay, am I going to sit here and tell you if it comes down to Myles Garrett or if it comes down to Trey Hendrickson? Maybe Trey Hendrickson's a little different, but if it comes down to Max Crosby, or it comes down to, getting Trey Smith or getting Drew Dolman, that I would take Kyler Gordon over any of those names? No. But I think when you start to have the conversation, right, if it comes down to Josh Sweat, I might be willing to hold on to Kyler Gordon in that situation, only because a player like Josh Sweat, who I do think is a very good player, who I do think is an impactful player, who I would love to have on this team, I think that that's not something that is unattainable in this current draft. I think that you could find that in the second round, especially with 2 picks there. There's some names coming off of the edge that I think are going to be very impactful in this NFL. Solid pieces. Again, this has been talked about as a meat and potatoes type of draft, where if you got a lot of those middle picks, you're in a better position here. I think that a guy like Josh Sweat can be attained. Not to say that Josh Sweat is a scrub or that he's a middle of the pack player. I think that he's a top tier player. I just think that guy's out there. And if my choice is I re-sign Kyler Gordon, who I know I don't have to worry about, who I know he can do his job well and he can be a dog in that slot and he can impact the field in so many ways, or I go out and get Josh Sweat or draft a guy for that position. You guys have heard I've talked about Mike Green. You know, there's some other names on there coming up later on in the mock drafts that we're going to be doing as well that I think really stand out. Even a Donovan Izuriku, that I think we took him in the second round there. You know, like those are the guys to me that I think you kind of look at and say, yeah, maybe they're not the best of the best right now, but what can they turn themselves into? I think you can find that guy in the draft, although I think Mike Green might be the best of the best. I'm not going to lie to you, bro. He might be the best pass rusher in the let me calm down. Let me calm down. Let me calm down. It's just my personal opinion. Let me know how you guys feel on the Kyler Gordon conversation in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Do you feel like you got to get a deal done here with Kyler Gordon? We'll be down there talking with you, like I said. The other thing that we talked about this morning on the Morning Breeze was the fact that Ben Johnson not only wants to win, but he wants to win now. And he feels like he can do this. He feels like the Bears can turn over this offensive line and get everything that they need in one offseason to hit the ground running. Now, here's my thing. I don't know if Ben Johnson is saying, hey, we can go out and we can get every single piece that we need in free agency in the draft, and we're going to be perfect. I think the conversation that Ben Johnson is having is more of, we have this coaching staff. We put this coaching staff together so that when we go out here and we are on the field, our coaches are going to get the best out of the players that we have. We're going to add pieces. We're going to add in free agency. We're going to add in the draft. I don't think he's not saying they won't do that, but I think the conversation more is when you talk about winning and winning now, you can have all the best pieces in the world. If you're a bad coach, it's not going to work for you. Look at the Jets. Aaron Rodgers plays a big part into that, and I think Robert Saleh ended up getting screwed in a lot of the situations there because of how Aaron Rodgers played, but there's a lot of good pieces on that team, on the defensive and offensive line, DBs, wide receiver room. You had Aaron Rodgers who, yes, he had a down season, but by most metrics, still had a pretty good season. It just wasn't an Aaron Rodgers season. Like, to me, you being in that position and not being able to get the most out of that, I do look at coaching and say, I think Robert Saleh is maybe a better coach than what people are going to give him credit for, but you couldn't get the most out of that team. And so, to me, when I hear Ben Johnson talk about this winning and winning now, it's the conversation around, hey, we're going to coach these guys up. We've got guys on the roster already who we believe can be top tier candidates, who we believe can be top guys in the league, who we believe can be the best of the best. We got to get the most out of those guys, though. He loves DJ Moore, and I love how he said this, and I talked about this morning. He, in the Waddle and Sylvie interview, please check it out over on the Waddle and Sylvie page on ESPN. He talked about DJ Moore as one of the best guys yards after catch, one of the best guys when you get the rock in his hand, he's going to make something happen. And he said, I don't believe the league knows that, but I'll tell you this, no block, no rock. That screams that this guy understands, yes, you have to do this well, but also, if we don't do this part of the game well, you have to do the yards after catch and get the ball in his hands and all that. But if we don't block for the running game, if we don't get the most out of every bit of every play, then we're not going to be successful. I can get you the football, but if somebody don't block for you, because you were unwilling to block for them, now we're in this struggle situation that continues to show its head. So we kind of had the conversation on, is this a reality or is this just kind of a pie in the sky conversation when you're talking about winning and winning now? For me, I do think it's a possibility for the Bears to be a winning football team next season. Now, am I going to sit here and predict 10 wins? No. Just because of, and I'm not going to lie, because I'm a jaded Bears fan that's been through this and we've been excited and we've seen the good coaching staff and we've been all over this and we flip tables and here we go, 10 wins. Oh my God. And then we get there and we get 6. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think that it is a guarantee that the Bears are a dominant football team. But should they be winning? If you address the offensive line with Trey Smith and Drew Dahlman, if you're addressing this defensive line either by going out and signing somebody, trading for somebody, and or going out there and drafting somebody that you think is going to be highly impactful, it's on you to coach these guys up, but we are not quantity away from being great. I think that we are quality away from being great, because all of a sudden, right, you get those guys in the middle that can force pressure on the defensive side, and then you go, oh snap, we do have Kyler Gordon. Oh my God, we do have Jalen Johnson. What would you look at that? Tyree Stevenson's not giving guys the middle finger on the sideline. He can make a play. Hey, is that Kevin Byard back there? Wow, we do have TJ Edwards over the middle. Okay, I kind of like this. You look at the offensive side. Now you go, oh, we do got DJ Moore. Look at that. Should we throw the football to Cole Kmet? Are you telling me Rome Odunze's over there? Now, you still need some help in that running back room, and I think that that's something that they will draft, hopefully later in this draft. But when you have a conversation around this young Bears team and what it's going to take to get them to the next level, it literally is get the coaching staff right, get the trenches right. Many of us feel they've gotten the coaching staff right. Can you now get the trenches right and accentuate some of those weapons you have on the outside? We'll see. That was a Morning Breeze recap. If you want the in-depth conversation, check out the Morning Breeze. I think it's in the comments right here, or I'm sorry, on the screen right here. Also, make sure that you are hitting that thumbs up button, subscribing to the page, leaving a 5-star review if you're watching the podcast, man. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.